Okay, then I can see there is already quite a few participants joining our first webinar for the Call of Innovations for the MENA region of the Water Energy for Food program. And I would say let's get started because we have a few slides that we would like to share with you, and then we will also have some more time for questions. Please note we will have two webinars today. This one right now will be in English, and everything will be happening in English over here. In exactly 2 hours, we will have a second webinar, which will be in Arabic. So if you prefer just to see the Arabic one, then you can rejoin us in 2 hours for the Arabic one. If you want, you can of course also join both of them. So with me here at the moment today are 5 people. It's Rami Boujaude. He's the leader of the Regional Innovation Hub for the MENA region. It's myself, Michael Kropak. I'm co-director of CEWAS, and I will facilitate this session. Then further here for us to answer questions, if there are any, is Hanna Wutzel. She is in charge of communications for our hub. And then we have Ahmed Hussain from Chemonics Egypt, who will take care of all the technical assistance related issues and questions that you all might have. And what we don't have now here on this slide, but with us is also Nicolas, who will answer any questions related, say, financials or investment readiness today, if there are any specific questions in this direction. Let us have a look at the agenda. So we're in the middle of the welcome, and what we will start with is a very short introduction and overview of the We4F program. Then I will dive into the main topic of today. I will give you an overview of the current call, which is ongoing at the moment, and the deadline, as you all know, will be on the 15th of December. I have prepared a few slides that I want to show you, and hopefully I can already answer quite a few of your questions that you might have. Should this not be the case, we will have a Q&A session after my presentation. So what I would like you to do, so if any questions pop up during the session today, there is a Q&A box which you can find at the bottom. Please, if I do not answer your question properly, please write them into this Q&A box, and then we will have more time at the end to actually go through all the questions. Very important to note is whatever we answer today as a question is a preliminary answer. That means it's not binding yet. What we will do after these webinars, we will actually write down all your questions and we will provide written answers to them and then publish them on our Water and Energy for Food website. And those answers to your questions will be binding to us. So please note this down, that not everything that we say today might be 100% binding, but we of course take as much care as possible that whatever we tell you today is actually true and correct. Good. So we know the process now, and before we start with the actual call, I would like to hand over to Rami Boujaude, the leader of the Regional Innovation Hub for the MENA region, to give us a quick overview of the program and what it is for. Rami, please, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hello, everyone. We're glad to have you here with us. It's great to see that we have almost 50 participants, and the numbers are increasing. So great to be here. Michael, thank you for this introduction. So what I'll be talking to you today about is what is water energy for food. So water energy for food is a joint international initiative between the German Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation, BMZ, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Government of the Netherlands, the Swedish through the Swedish International Development Cooperation, SIDA, and the US Agency for International Development, USAID. That consortium of donors have worked together to prepare a global challenge called Water and Energy for Food. And the objective is to make sure that we have this challenge across multiple continents. Next. So what are the global program goals? We want to make sure through that program, we want to make sure that we increase food production along the value chain through a more sustainable and efficient usage of water and or energy. So how can we benefit from water efficiency, water reuse, and so on, and energy efficiency, renewable energy use, to make sure that our food production increases sustainably. We want to make sure that this affects also the income increase for the base of the pyramid for women and men in both rural and urban areas. We want to make sure that this is supporting the sustainability to scale innovators and their solutions to meet the challenges of the water energy for food. So anything that would help innovators to grow their business sustainably, to make sure that they're able to create more impact through proper support, technical assistance, and financial support, and investment readiness. And we want all of this to promote climate and environmental resilience, improve the biodiversity through sustainable, holistic management of the water, natural resources, and ecosystems. Next. So the MENA Regional Innovation Hub is part of it's part of 4 hubs currently operational. So we have the East Africa, the West Africa, the MENA, and South and Southeast Asia hub. The MENA hub covers 10 countries, all the way from Morocco down to Yemen, with the exception of few others. So you could see on the map the countries that are, supported in the MENA hub. Next. So the hub is made of 4 partners. It's managed by 4 partners that have been, entrenched in the region, been working in the MENA for a long period of time. We have Beritech, who's leading the consortium and is one of the leading entrepreneurship support organizations in Lebanon and active in the region. We've supported more than 5,000 entrepreneurs since 2002, and we currently have a strong focus on agri-tech and clean tech innovations. We have also with us Chemonix Egypt's consultants that supported more than 1,000 entrepreneurs at idea stage and 100 growing businesses in the water, food, and energy nexus since 1992. CWAS is the planet's first dedicated water entrepreneurship organization that have supported over 3,000 water nexus entrepreneurs with a strong focus on the Middle East. And IWMI is the global leading organization in research, policy, and advocacy in the water, food, and energy nexus. All of us have been active in the region, working in the region, and have a team dedicated to make sure that your support and the support of your organization gets there. With that, I move the call back to you, Michael, to take it from here. Thank you very much and enjoy the session.
Okay, thank you very much, Rami. And let's dive directly into what you, of course, all want to know is all the details about the running call at the moment. And later, of course, the questions that you might have related to this call. Maybe before I start, just a couple of more housekeeping rules. I do see some people type their questions into the chat box. Please type them in the Q&A box. That will help us and not to miss it. So if you have any specific questions, please type them in the Q&A box and not into the chat box. I think that's something that would help us to keep track of all the questions that you might have. And then I might want to answer already one question that has been asked is this presentation I'm showing to you available afterwards? Yes, we will upload it in the coming hours onto the website, and then you will be able to go through these slides again if you want to. So you do not have to take print screens of every single slide that I will be showing to you. So with that, let us start with the overview. So what we want to talk about today is really about the MENA region and the call that has been issued for the MENA region. In total, the Water and Energy for Food program will go for 4 years, and in total we will have $4.5 million that innovators will get in either cash contributions or as a TA, technical assistant support in the coming 4 years. And that's very important. I think here we dive straight into the topic. What we are looking for is for innovations in water and food, in energy for food, or ideally in water and energy for food. Now, why should you join the We4F program? Now, obviously, and I think many of you are here today with us because you have read or heard about the carrot that we have at hand. And the carrot, the most prominent thing is obviously that we can provide you with a cash contribution, a grant contribution of $25,000 to $300,000 per innovator, and you can benefit, of course, from this contribution in developing and growing your innovation in the MENA region. Now, this is great, of course, but for us as the program managers, we believe that this is an important reason, but it's really only the fourth reason why you should join this program, because we believe there are 3 more reasons out there which are more important and which might bring you further than just the financial benefit that you might get from this Water and Energy for Food program. What are these 4 reasons why you should join the Water and Energy for Food program? Now, in our understanding, the most important thing that you will be receiving will be the technical assistance. Now, the Water and Energy for Food program is not a training program. You will be not sitting in trainings, but what you will get, or what you can apply for, is specific technical assistance of some of the region's best experts in this field. And what we really want to provide you with is specific, say, mini projects of experts that you usually wouldn't be able to access. They can help you, they can directly support you in your projects, and you can also decide whom to choose and how you want to get this technical assistance. So we will support you here. Just to tell you some topics that might be interesting. So for example, for the whole planning for scale, or a lot of you will have cash flow problems. So how can you overcome your cash flow problems? We can help you with financial experts that can help you here to create a proper plan for that, how to optimize your production processes for your innovations, or if you want to go to another country, how does it work with exports and laws and legal issues? These are all elements that we can support you with, and that we have also the funding for. So you will not have to pay extra for these services that will be included in the package when you join the Water and Energy for Food program. So this is the first reason. Now, the second reason is obviously we will also support you with our investment readiness section and experts to not just receive the grants that you might be entitled to in the framework of the Water and Energy for Food program, but the whole idea behind it is that we will help you to scale, and we will help you to find further investors, and also decide and define how you want to actually structure your investments and how you can access investments here. So we really believe that the grants that we might be able to provide you are just a small part of it, of the whole ticket that you will be needing to go get scaled and bring your innovation to many, many more people. The third thing is the access to networks, to new markets and investments. We have a very large network at our hand. We can link you up with the right people, with partners, with customers, with potential clients that can help you grow your innovations and grow in the MENA region, in those 10 countries that we are operating. And only the last thing we believe is about the matching grants, which might be important, interesting factor, why you might want to apply for this program. We can provide you with grants of $25,000 to $300,000 dollars, and they will be milestone based, and we see them mainly as a de-risking vehicle and matching these grants with other investments that you might have already, or that we will together with you find in the coming years, so you can scale your innovation. Maybe just to have a look back at the countries where we are working. So if you want to apply for this MENA call, right, for then your innovation must be applied in one of those 10 countries, right? So it's either Morocco, Algeria, or Tunisia, or Egypt or Sudan, so North Sudan, not South Sudan. And then we have the countries, Lebanon, the Palestinian territories, we have Jordan, Iraq, and last but not least, Yemen. So if your innovation is going to be implemented in one of those 10 countries, you are welcome to apply. You can, of course, also apply for more than just one country. We would even encourage you to do so if you have plans to scale and to expand your operations. In general, what the program is about two things, right? It's on one hand, it's the whole sort of business side, right? So we are looking for innovations that that do fulfill certain business criteria, right? So we are looking for innovations that are rather mid to later stage. So please note that the Water and Energy for Food program is not a startup program. It is not a program that is funding pilot projects. We are really looking at, you know, at proven but yet still innovative products and services. So what you need to have when you want to join the program, you already need to have recurring sales with your innovation you're applying with. You need to have a valid technology or a service, and you need to show us a valid business model that that we believe is something that can be scaled in the region. So the whole idea of the program is that we can sort of accelerate your current customer base from 5,000 clients to 100,000, or ideally to millions of clients in the region. So that's very important. It's a program that really focuses to mid to later stage enterprises. So this is the business side, and there is also the impact side, right? So we don't just want to focus on business aspects, but obviously our donor partners and the partners that are financing this program are also eager to see an impact on the ground. The most basic one is, of course, the name of our program, Water and Energy for Food, right? What we want to see is that with your innovation, with your contribution, we can produce more food with less energy or less water, or both. That's the overall goal. And but adding to that, we also want to see a certain impact on the poor, on youth, on women. So you cannot just suggest an innovation that's, for example, just targeting the luxury market. That's not something we want to support. It should trickle down in one or the other way to the poor, to youth, and to women, so it's eligible for this program. And last but not least, the whole program should also have a positive impact, or at least no negative impact on the environment and the ecosystem. Maybe an important slide I just added recently is maybe to again make it clear what we do not want to support in the framework of the Water and Energy for Food first call for innovations, right? So first point, we do not want to support innovations that have no link or just a very weak link to the whole idea of water or energy, or water and energy for food. So you will have to describe this link, you know, how can we save water, how can we save energy to produce more food? If your innovation is not related to that, it will be more than likely that you will be not eligible for this call. The second thing is you will also need to prove to us that your innovation has a positive impact to poor women and the environment. If you cannot prove that to us, if you cannot explain that to us, how this link is being done, again, we will not want to take you into our program. I think that's straightforward. The next point, and I think that's also important to all of you who are from the universities or research organizations, right? What we also do not want to focus, fund or support is research and development projects. If your innovation used to be a research and development project and now you want to transfer it and scale it to the open market, that's fine, but we are not funding or we are not supporting pure research and development projects or projects that have not sort of passed that stage yet. The same applies to pilot projects. That means we do not want to fund or support pilot projects that you have to have done before, and now it's about scaling, about, you know, bringing your pilot projects to a different level. That's fine, but we will not support pilot projects in the framework of this program. Coming to the fifth point, right? And I've highlighted this here in red, right? And because I think it's very important to understand this point, right? Water and Energy for Food, the program, is not your client. What does that mean? It means that we do not want to subsidize your innovation to your normal clients. So if you're looking for money because you didn't get all your money together, for example, a wastewater treatment plant you want to build because the market players are not ready to pay the full price on what you are charging, then we are not going to help you with this. We want to help you to scale. We want to help you to grow, but we are not going to subsidize your product to your customers. So don't look at us as a client. Look at us as a partner that helps you in that journey to scale your innovations and to create more impact on the ground. And the last point, the sixth one, is what we also don't want to do is we don't want to support established and large companies which technologies are super proven. They have been already mainstreamed everywhere. So we will not support these type of innovations as well. It's really something earlier than we want to support innovations that have been proven, but not really scaled yet in the market. Good. Let us have a quick look at the process, just for you to understand how that process is in general looking like. So the application process for this first call is a two-stage application process. So what we are at now is the first stage, is the concept node stage. So this is a call that is public, you all know that, and any organization can apply for it if you are planning to deploy your innovation in one of those 10 countries in the MENA region. It is not very complicated. It's an online application form with 3 sections, and the main section with the technical approach has 14 questions. So that's a relatively simple process, and you will find all the details on our website. As you all know, the deadline for this first stage of the concept note is the 15th of December. And then what will happen, all the applications will be reviewed, and we expect that we will take approximately 50 applications to the next phase, which will be the full proposal stage. Here we are looking for a bit more in-depth information about your innovation, what you're planning to do, what your financials are in detail, and then we will award now in this first round 25, 27 max innovators to be a part of this first round of water and energy for food innovators for the MENA region. Please note that there will be a second call in approximately 1 year. So if you're not yet ready, you can also wait and join the second call, which will be published in approximately 1 year. Just to show you another graph, which sort of summarizes the whole process. So we will have those 2 stages, the concept note stage and the proposal stage, here marked in green, in the coming 3 months or 2.5 months. And then once we have come to a decision on who can be innovator, those 27, there will be a preliminary approval. We will actually work with you initially to understand your business model and your needs better. And then there will be also a boot camp, which will be held virtually to also get to know you better, understanding your needs and also your financing needs that you might have. And then in April, we will then do the final selection on who can receive how much financial contributions. All the people that enter the program are entitled to get technical assistance, but not all of them will get financial assistance. So that's the rough program, but I think for you at the moment, it's important to know that you submit your concept note in time, and if you make it to the second round, that you submit your proposal in time, and then all the next steps we will of course inform you accordingly when they will happen. Let us have a very quick look at the application form. We have seen that there are already quite a few organizations out there that have started filling the application form. So you will find it under innovation calls, under our MENA call, and there, if you click here on the orange text, right, you will get into the online application form. So we will invite you to start opening the form. You don't have to, once you open it, you can save it, you can get back to it, so you can sort of work on it for the next weeks, and you will see there are all the questions there. Please answer all of them thoroughly, and then this is the way in how you actually apply for the concept note stage. So eventually you will submit it and it will reach us, and this will be the basis for us to actually make our selection who gets into the second round. Good. Let me dive a bit more into the selection criteria, right? You have, most of you have read this document, right? the official call. We highly suggest that you read it thoroughly. I mean, we know it's a bit complex, it's complicated, has 60 pages, but please read it carefully. But what I want to show you now is basically a condensed version of what's standing in this document here. And the most important thing for you is, of course, what are the selection criteria? And what I want you to, I want to show you 6 more slides, which cover the 6 most important sort of areas for, or criterias, which we are looking for this call for innovations. So we have the basic criterias, we have the thematic criterias, we have innovation criterias, we have business criterias, social criterias, and environmental criterias. Okay, let us start with the most important basic criteria. Please note there are more, right? But this is sort of a high-level summary for you to get a better of understanding in what we are looking for and what are the criteria that we will apply when we will read your applications. So let us have a look at this basic criteria. So the first one is the local presence, right? So we are looking for innovators that already have a local presence in the MENA region. If you do not have a local presence yet, then we expect that you will have at least a very strong existing partner. Please do not submit a proposal if you've never been to the MENA region and you don't know anyone. So you have to have this before you actually apply. Either you already have a presence or you have a strong partner in the region. Then the second point I mentioned already, your project is clearly beyond the research and development stage. We do not want to fund and support research and development projects. It has to go further, they have to be market ready, and they have to be proven. The third point, this is maybe the hardest criteria in terms of quantifiable numbers. What we are looking for is we are looking for innovations that have already existing customers. So again, this is not a startup program. This is a program for innovations that have already proven that have already been proven in the market, right? And what we want to see is that you have reached at least 5,000 customers with your innovation in the last years, right? This is a cumulative number. That means all your customers for this specific innovation you want the support for, you need to have reached already 5,000 customers or end users. It depends when you are a B2B a B2B organization, right? A B2B business, then we want to see not your sort of intermediary, but then, for example, if you are selling irrigation devices, for example, it would be the number of farmers that are actually using your devices and not your wholesalers that you are selling your devices to. Right, so this is this thing, either your direct customers or the direct beneficiaries of your innovation. This applies to innovations that cost like less than $100. If you have something more expensive, like for example a wastewater treatment plant or something like that, then the number reduces to 1,000 customers. Good. Point 4 is the customer base. Now, again, we are looking for water and energy for food, right? And we know that there's lots of good innovations out there, but what we do not want to do, we do not want to support innovators that not have any contact with the food or agricultural sector. So what you need to prove to us is at least some evidence that you have worked with clients from the food sector, in the food value chain, or the agricultural sector, for example, farmers, that you have had, that you already have those people as your clients, because we don't, again, want to tackle a completely new market with your innovation, but you need to have the proof already here that this has been the case earlier. The fifth point is you need to be a registered organization, either a for-profit or a non-profit. You can also be a university. What you cannot be is you cannot be an individual person, and you cannot be a government entity. So you have to be a registered organization to be able to apply for the We4Food program. And the last point on this slide is what we do not want to do. We are not a classic development project, right? So that means if you just look for grant funding just to implement your stuff, we are not the right partners for you. We are supporting innovators that have a proven business model, and we want to help them to scale, but we do not want to subsidize your innovation for your clients. Good. Let us move on and have a look at the thematic criteria. Now, the most basic criteria, I've mentioned it already many times, and I repeat again, right? So the main question for us is, does your innovation reduce water for food production, reduce energy for food production, or ideally, does it reduce water and energy in the food production? This is what we're focusing on. If you cannot touch at least on two, right, either water for food or energy for food, or ideally all three, water and energy for food, you will be not eligible for this program. Then the second point is obviously what we want to see is that the innovations that we support, they also contribute to the overall program goals of water and energy for food. I mean, this program is funded by 4 government partners, right? Rami mentioned them before: the Americans, the Dutch, the Swedes, and the Germans, and they want to see impact, and they want to see that you contribute to achieving our program goals. You will see all the program goals in this document, so please have a look at it again, right? But again, what we really want to see is that you really help the local or the regional food value chain to thrive, to reduce the energy, to reduce the water there, and at the same time, you know, help us manage water resources and have an impact on the poor and women. You will have the opportunity in the online forum, in the concept note, to explain us how your innovation relates to these points and to these program goals. The third point here is the indicators. Now, of course, you can tell us anything what you might want to do, but eventually we will also want to see numbers, and numbers you can actually prove. And we want to see if you enter into the program that you can provide us with hard data on our most important indicators. These are, you know, how much water can you save in liters, how much tons of food can be produced or more can be produced through your innovation, how much energy can be saved in kilowatt hours, how many end users you can actually reach with your innovation, and at the end, how many women and poor can directly or indirectly benefit from your innovation. Third point is the whole criteria around the innovation itself, right? So again, what we are looking for is for innovations that are innovative, of course, but we are also looking for innovations that already have been proven in the market, and that can be mainly maybe applied to other markets as well. But the main word here is that they are proven. So you need to already have a customer base, and you need to have sold your innovations already. And we want to see the evidence for that. And then we will support you to scale this if you want our support in the framework of this program. The second point is the cost effectiveness. Now, this, of course, this is a stretchable term, but what we want to see is that your potential clients you're targeting, right? And here we hope you're also targeting women, poor, and people that are maybe less well off in these countries, that people can actually pay for these innovations, right? So we are not supporting any innovations that are not at least covering their costs when they're sold to their clients in those 10 countries of the MENA region where we are working. And the last point here, the third point, is your innovation should be scalable, obviously, and we also want to see that your customers really need that you have good reports and feedback from your customers and end users, that this innovation that you are producing are really something that can create impact in the long term in the food value chain in the future. Good. Let us come to the second last slide before the questions. It's the business criteria. Now, we want to see some basic business criteria that you have already achieved before, so you can actually participate in this program. So we will want to see a clear defined financial model and a system, a revenue model that has already gained traction, right? So we don't want to see just theoretical business models, but we want to see that you have already proven that on the market, maybe not on a large scale, but you can prove to us that this works and you have happy customers, and then this will be the basis for us to help you to scale with your innovation in the different MENA countries. What we also want to see, and this is the second point, is that you have a clear understanding of financials and that you have a good financial system in place, and also coupled with sustainability plans, right? So again, this is not a startup program. This is a program for established organizations that that have a CFO, that have clear income statement, that have those procedures under control, because eventually what we want you to help with is to access more funds, to access commercial investments. And if you don't have that into place, or you're really far from it, it will be too difficult for us to help you. So we want to see that you have a sort of a clear governance regarding financials, so you can actually take part in this program. This includes, for example, and this is the third point, that you can produce income statements for 2018 and 2019. We know 2020 you might be still working on them when you submit your proposals, but at least 18 and 19, we want to see your income statements, not yet at the concept note stage, but then later in the proposal stage. You will also have to send them to us as an attachment, so we can actually have a look and check them whether you have had this track record already and the proper financial records. The fourth point is our program is about growth, right? I mean, we do want to detect those gems, right, that can really accelerate growth, that can really grow exponentially, right? Not all of you might grow exponentially in the future, but we want to see that all of you that participate in this program have a sort of a growth, right, in your numbers, and you will also have to prove that to us, that you're not just stagnating or even shrinking. We believe that only growing organizations will really profit the most out of this program in the future. So we will also want to see how you have been growing in the past, and that in local currencies, so we can take out the whole problem of the FX risks in the past. And the last point, what we would like to see is that you do already have matching funds. It's not a must criteria at the very beginning, but again, the more matching funds you already have, which are secured, the more likely it will be that we can, top it up with the grants from our program and continue helping with further investments that will help you to grow in the future. Good. Let us come to my last slide, which is all about ESGs, right? Environmental, social, and governance criteria. Again, I'm repeating here a bit myself. You will need, and this is the point number one, you need to demonstrate a direct and strong or a strong indirect benefit for the poor, right? So please explain to us how your innovation really benefits also this segment of the society. This also applies to women, right? We want to also see women participation in your organization, and also we want to see women participation amongst your clients and beneficiaries of your innovation, which you are working on. Point 3 is, I've already said that you should have a gender balanced team. So that doesn't mean you have to have a 50-50 balance at all positions, but if you do not have any women at all, either at management level or at your workforce, then we will look at this very critically. So please only apply if you have a reasonable section of female participation in your management team and your workforce. We also want to see how your innovation will benefit expected end users. So I hope you have certain data and certain proof in how you can show us that your innovation is actually reaching your expected end users. So your organization should be data driven. That's what we really like to see, and that's what this fourth point is all about. The second last point is the ESG. So if you have not heard about ESG before, then it is high time that you learn about it. It's about environmental, social, and governance issues that are also should be an important part in your business model and in your company. That you should have a basic understanding of them. We are happy to help you to develop this more, but at least the basic understanding you should have, and you should have the commitment and the willingness to integrate those aspects into your business model. And the last point, your innovation should ideally, of course, demonstrate also a positive impact on the environment, or at least shouldn't harm it, right? So that's sort of the last criteria of this whole bunch of criteria which we have, which we would like to see in the coming weeks, that you apply your innovations in our current code. Good. Let me have a sip of water, because I'm speaking too much. Now I will stop sharing my presentation, and I would like to ask my colleagues to also turn on their cameras, because we will be going now into the Q&As, right? So we have received a few questions in a written form, and I have seen now there is many questions have been popping up in the Q&A box, and what we want to do now is to go through them one by one, and actually answer them right now here on the spot. Again, please remember what we are telling you now. This is an initial indicative answer. We will give you then those answers to the questions in a written form. We will work on this week, and most probably at the beginning of next week, you will have them also published on our website. And those answers on the website are those that really count. I don't expect that there will be lots of differences, but just in case, if you're not sure, the ones that will be published are those that really count. Okay, now let me start with the questions that haven't been asked here, but that have been asked in writing. These are, I think, 6, right? So let us, I will read you the question, and then I think the first ones I will answer myself, or most of them. Otherwise, I will also pass them on to my colleagues. So we have a first question which asked whether the deadline can be extended, and the answer is very simple. No, it cannot be extended. That means the 15th of December is fixed for the concept note. If you're really running out of time, you can still apply for the second round, which will be most probably open in the 4th quarter of 2021. So if you're not ready yet, take your time and reapply or apply in a year. If you're ready, then please apply now. Now, the second question. We have a question also from someone who asks whether they can apply for the current call in the MENA region and at the same time for the call for the Asia hub, right? There, as we learned, there are different regions, and at the moment there are 2 calls open, one for the MENA region and one for Asia. And can you apply for both of them? And the answer here is yes, you can apply for both of them, but please note there's going to be independent selections and independent review of that, and therefore yeah, so you can do that, and the chances are equal whether you get in there and also in the Asia one, so that's fine. Then the next question, going to the same direction, is about how many innovations can you apply with in this current call just now under the MENA call. And in general, there are no limits to that, right? So you can technically apply with more than 1 innovation in this call. Now, anyway, what we would encourage you though is that you really set priorities, and that you that you focus on quality and not quantity. It will not help your application, or it will not help if you just apply with 10 innovations now and just hope one of them will make it. We would rather suggest that you focus really on your strongest innovations that you really want to scale. But as such, there is no limit to the number of innovations that you can submit in this current call. Good. Then the next question is, am I eligible to apply as an individual? And the clear and simple answer is no. We only want to have organizations that apply, registered organizations, and this can be for-profit organizations, this can be NGO, non-profit organizations, this can also be universities. Who cannot apply are individuals, and also government agencies, a ministry or something like that, that they cannot apply under this call. Then we have a question that states, would the university and or the landowner's company be good recipients? Now, I have a bit troubles with the wording here, but again, if you are a university, you can apply. If you are a company, you can also apply. So that is fine. That's an option if you want to take part in this in this challenge here we are putting up in front of it. Good. So these were the questions we got in writing, and now let us see what are the questions out there that you have been asking here through my monologue I just gave. And I would like to start with the first question from one of the participants, right? And it says, as I work in the whole MENA region, can I apply for this grant with a Jordanian partner and with partners in Tunisia and Algeria with the same idea? Maybe a question I would like to ask to Ahmed from Chemonix Egypt. Can you answer this question?
Yes, I think the short answer is yes, but in that case, we will be looking at evidence that you can deploy this technology effectively with partners, and that this technology you need to convince us that is suitable for each market. So I would say if you feel you strongly understand these markets and you have partners there through which you can deploy the innovation, you need to you can apply, but you have to convince us on each market and your competence and your capacity to expand in it equally.
Okay, thank you very much, Ahmed. I think this is clear. Let us go to the next question. The question states, can you confirm that the contracting authority is would be USAID rather than one of the other donors in the fund? And maybe I can answer this straight away. Yes, this is the case, right? So the program, the whole program, although there's 4 donor partners that are joining this together, right? The whole program is, from the administration point of view, is managed by USAID, and therefore the actual contract you will be having at the end when you succeed will be with USAID. So this is a clear yes, that the contracting authority will be USAID. Good. Let us move on. A question for Nicolas. Now, a very straightforward question, which I touched on before, is do you expect cost share from the organizations involved? That means, do you expect, co-investments, or how does that look, Nicolas?
Yes, thank you, Michael. Definitely, in order to benefit from the cash grant, there has to be a matching investment or loan from a third party. Also, it can be an in-kind investment through the existing shareholders of the company. It doesn't have to be from a third party. Yet, we should be mindful that the ultimate goal of our program through the investment readiness and facilitation to be able to raise money from private investors or lenders to be able to scale this innovation and project. Thank you. I hope this answers the question.
Yes, thank you very much, Nicolas. So, of course, the more you can already show, the better it is, because that's what we want to achieve. We see this program as a, as a trigger, as a support to really attract more investments for your innovation. Then another question is that would you expect to be the beneficiaries for the projects youth, women, and refugees? Maybe I can answer this directly. Here, this is a clear yes. We want to have and we want to see either directly or with a very strong indirect relation that women, youth, the poor actually do benefit from innovation, from your innovation. If your innovation is only targeting, for example, the luxury market, that's not what we want to see. So yes, your beneficiaries in one or the other way need to also include youth, women, and or refugees. Good. Then another question. I think I answered it again, but just to make it clear, Ahmed, maybe you can elaborate on that a bit more. Can an educational institution submit a proposal, like, for example, a university or a polytechnic? Is this possible or not? And what's the thinking behind it? If they apply, how should they design that?
Okay, so I think the demarcation here for us is that we are looking at a market-oriented innovation. So whether you are an NGO or a university, meaning not a company, what we need to see is a legal entity that can collect revenues. So we would want to see that your innovation is mainly financed by clients who are paying for it. So if it's a collaboration between an NGO and a company, or an NGO that owns a company, or a university that's a partner in a company, or it has a private spin-off arm that can sell products and collect revenue, that's okay. But the clear part, we want an entity that can sell the product or the service, collect revenue for it, and use this to grow, not through grants or donation, and also be sustainable and market oriented.
Okay, thank you, Ahmed. Then we have a next question, which is going to the same direction, so I direct it again to you, Ahmed, is whether someone is asking whether they can submit a proposal as a partner on TUOAA, which is, as far as I know, the Union of Arabic Academics in Jordan, correct? So Ahmed, these people, can they also apply, or how does that look?
I think if the union, by definition, can sell products and run a budget and have financial statements for this project, they can apply. As far as I know, most unions do not have this capacity, but if you do, then you can apply. And we need to see separate financials. I need to see an entity that can sell the product, and we need to be able to see its financial and budgets contained, not hidden within a bigger organization.
Now, of course, if you just want to partner up with the program, you can do that, and you don't have to actually fill out the innovation form, right? But if you want to become a beneficiary of the Water and Energy for Food program, then you need to be a registered organization. Good. Then, sorry, Ahmed, to bug you again, but another question going more into the contents of it, right? Is someone is asking whether they can apply as an aquaponic farming project, or whether they, they want to set up a fully smart farm. Is that a part that could be technically funded under the Water and Energy for Food program?
I think both can be clearly funded, and I just want to explain the concept, how we would look at it. I would say if through an aquaponic farm you can produce this amount of food with less water than the traditional farming or the regular farming in your country, this for us saves water, and actually it saves energy, and then it can, this is why it is eligible. For a smart farm, this is how we would look at it also. If this smart technology can make food, you produce more food with same water and energy, or same food with less water or energy, then this smart part or this technology is eligible. But I just want to clarify that what we will look here at as an innovation is the smart technology changing the farm. A smart farm itself does not necessarily qualify as a project. Then you are a project that is selling food, selling agriculture produce. So that's for us is not an innovative product or a solution.
Okay, thank you very much, Ahmed. There is a simple question I want to answer, and the question goes in: how many calls for innovation do you expect to be released by the MENA Hub? So at the moment, we are planning with 2 main calls. So that means the one that is right now running, and then the next one, which is definitively scheduled already in the 4th quarter of next year. And then let us see if a third one is coming up. It depends a bit on the number and the quality of the applications which we are getting. We are expecting now in the coming next 4 years that we can support at least 40 to 50 innovators. And for that, we will do 2 to 3 calls. So 2 is the minimum. Maybe there will be more. So you can either apply today or this month, or you apply then at the end of next year, and let us see what the future brings. Maybe there will be more coming up, but that's as much as I can tell you right now in terms of the amount of calls that we are planning to release under the MENA umbrella. Please note, if you want to do your innovations in the different parts of the world, check out our website and the other regional innovation hubs. There they have also open calls running, at least in South Asia or Southeast Asia, and the other hubs, they will also release their calls separately. But for that, please check the website and, of course, subscribe to our newsletter. Another one for you, Ahmed, also in the same direction of application is whether an INGO can apply to this call, or it is better that local innovators and startups are supported.
Again, let me share how we think about this, and then I give you the exact answer. What we want to know is that this product or technology will be successfully deployed in one of the countries that we are looking at. If an international NGO does have a profit-generating arm or revenue-generating arm, let me be accurate, and can prove that it has the partnerships in the country, through partnerships, not simply a cover or not simply a distributor or someone who's providing a warehouse. Through this partnership, it can deliver this service and there is mutual added value. This is very encouraged. So it's a MENA hub, meaning the markets of the MENA, not necessarily it's not about a nationality or anything. But if you can demonstrate such partnerships in the country, welcome to apply.
And I'm just checking a few more of those questions which go in the same direction, just different companies. SME, right, which is fully owned by a larger holding company, they can apply, right?
This is a tricky question. I saw it in the list and I tried to prepare. I think for me, SMEs are encouraged to apply. I think for me, this is one tricky question. The idea is that we do not want to support someone or an entity that does not need support. So if this entity has its own finance and it has own structure and independent in its operation and its financial and teams and so on, I think this is eligible to apply. We'll double check and get back. But if it is really floated by the larger company and this grants and technical assistance are simply part of this bigger company support, then this is not what we are looking for.
Okay, and then just to get these things out of the way, if I'm a researcher from a university, can I apply or not?
As a researcher, you cannot apply. Your university cannot apply. If you are a part of a company or have a partnership with a revenue generating entity with independent financials, you can apply. Great.
Okay, then just to give you a break, Ahmed, continue with Nicolas. And the question goes on the structure for the grants, right? So how are they structured, Nicolas? Is this is there a main grantee and the sub-grantee, or is it a direct relation, or how is it contractually done?
If it's from a contractual structure, if we're asking about a multi-party agreement, I don't think that it will be the case. Yes, we can double check it, but I believe that there will be one grantee and one beneficiary. I don't think that there will be an intermediary.
Okay. Then another question on the impact. Maybe Ahmed, I direct that to you. Does the impact has to be for the poor, women, and the environment, or is either the poor or the environment sufficient?
I think you need to have two of these three, but also let me clarify something. again, the bigger idea is that we want something that contributes positively to the economies and so on. So let's say that you are saving energy and saving water. I do not want to see a negative impact on the environment. You don't have to be, for example, limiting certain type of emissions or anything, but at least you are not making things worse. So, and that's what we are looking for. But definitely the saving in water and energy are there, at least no negative impact on the environment. And that's compared to the country where you operate and rules and regulations that governs that internationally. But we need to see a positive impact on your clients who are poor or women. Again, we don't want to see something excluding. So if your product does not particularly target women, what we need to see is that there is no barrier in how it is being presented that makes women access to it harder. So I don't need to see a product that is mainly targeted to women, but I need to see that your product equally addresses the clients. When it comes to the poor, we have a strong, clear preference that it benefits the poor or the base of the pyramid or smallholder farmers.
Yeah, and of course, the more the better, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's also a competition. You're not the only one applying. So the more you can, justify that you're better than the others here, the bigger your chances.
Yes, and I like what you're saying, Michael, because to everyone there, we don't want this to fall into a checklist that you are trying to meet. So if you feel that there is a couple of points that you are not doing well at, you will find that these questions ask you, what can you do about it? How can you improve it? So we are not just only looking at what you are doing now. So I really encourage you, if generally you don't have a negative impact, your business does not exclude women as clients and can serve them, and you have ideas how to improve, even if your client base now is not balanced in terms of gender, but there are questions on how can you improve it, and we are there to help you. So I truly encourage you to apply and try to make the case that this is positive water, energy, and also communities. Thank you.
Thank you, but I will not, I will continue bugging you, Ahmed. We're going a bit to the area of, proven customers, right? So we have one question here is, could the innovation, right, which is being adopted by the people that are doing that, right, in the MENA region be proven in another region, or does the proof that it has been proven has to come from the MENA region, right? So how does that work? Can something that comes from somewhere completely different be adapted to the MENA region, and that's fine if it has been proven in another region or country?
Yes, that's completely fine, but we need to see that it is not simply transferring a technology from one market to the other. We need to see that the business model and the way this innovation will be delivered in the MENA market fits that in terms of the communities can accept it, that the way through farmers and end users and your clients have their business running or operations is not going to be disturbed. So I would look that this technology is technically proven somewhere. This is very good, very solid, but I now need to see that the business model to deploy it works. So definitely, yes, if it's working outside MENA, this is a very good evidence for us that the technology works. We will look at the business model and that there are clear plans on how to fit it within the MENA socioeconomic fabric.
Okay, great. Now, the famous 1,000 customers that need to be achieved with innovation that costs more than $100, right? So someone is asking here whether these are customers or end users. Ahmed, that's an easy one, huh?
Yes. So in what we mean is the number refers to the end user. So it depends on your business model. If I'm selling to farmers or I'm selling food to final consumer, now my customer is my end user. If you are a little bit upstream in the value chain, so I am selling, let's say, a renewable energy system or like a smart agriculture component to companies that sell irrigation system to farmers, then the number is not the companies that I'm selling to, it is the farmer or the final beneficiary of food. If I am making cold storage rooms with energy efficiency and selling it to these cold storage centers, then my clients or end users are not the cold storage entities or the logistic entities, but actually their clients. So I would say 1,000 and 5,000, at the end, it is finally either the beneficiary of the food product or the farmer.
Okay, and obviously you need to have a solid understanding, where the impact is happening for your product or service that you are providing. Maybe a bit more tricky in the same direction, Ahmed, is the question now. We have those 5,000 or 1,000, right? That you have to have reached previously as a cumulated figure, right? Now, is this in total for the company, or is it really just for the specific product or innovation that we are talking about?
I think it's for the company, but you need to convince us that, so I'm assuming that the question that is being asked is that there is a company that has multiple products, and one of them is actually going to be the one applying for water, energy, for food. So what we need to know is that the number of client base that you currently have, so that's the 1,000 or the 5,000, and then we are open that you convince us in another question that you can scale up this to a new or a bigger customer base for this particular innovation.
Mm-hmm. Great. Now, question to Hannah. Someone is asking whether they can actually see any examples of of projects that the Water and Energy for Food program has been granted in the previous years. Now, the short answer is no, because the Water and Energy for Food program is brand new, and so far no innovators under this current program have been supported. But there have been previous programs, and there's lots of information on that. And where can people find about these older programs? And but just note, obviously, that it's not exactly the same. Hannah.
Yes, definitely. So like you already said, Michael, Water Energy for Food is in its first year now. However, there were already preceding programs, and you're all very much invited to check out the Water Energy for Food website, which is we4f.org. So I'm going to be sharing a link now in our chat that is going to take you directly to a list of innovators that have been supported by the previous programs. So feel free to take a look. I think, unless I'm forgetting something, there weren't any candidates from the MENA region so far. So this is really the first round. But perhaps you can get inspired and already find some solutions, so you can see a bit more what we're looking for.
But please note, these programs had different criteria. They were a bit focusing more on early stage, right? But the focus, it is more or less the same, but please note, it's not exactly the same thing, right? So get inspired, but don't copy paste things, because the program, what we're running now, is different, is focusing more on mid to later stage enterprises. Ahmed, we had this discussion for quite some time, and I'll ask it to you as well. Now, someone just started his company in 2020, but this innovator seems to be very successful. So he has already this client base. Can he still apply, or does he need to have this track record of 2018, 2019? You're muted.
Let me give you the background of why we look at the number of years and so on, and then give you a clear, concise answer. So basically, what we want to see as minimum risk as possible. We want to see a stable entity that is operating and basically functioning and ready to go, and it's already in operation, not someone who's trying to still connect with clients and so on. So for me, this is actually a tricky question, and I think the answer, yes, you can apply, but in that case, you have to know that we will be very anxious to see how you can convince us that this is a stable existing entity with stable operations and already having sales demonstrated and registered meeting those numbers. So please apply, but this is what we will be looking at, or the alarm that will go in our mind once we see someone early in their case. Definitely, this is not the focus. The focus for us is, I would say, entities maybe with 2 years in the market. But given that in 1 year you are meeting these targets, please apply.
Okay, just letting you brief for a moment, I'll jump over to Nicola. And we have a couple of questions which are more or less the same. Now, we've mentioned that the matching funds, right? Matching funds would be great, right? So what would be sort of the range of matching funds that the program is expecting? Or can you give us an example how this could look like when someone applies for, let us make whatever, 100 or 200 or $300,000?
Yes, just we can provide with a back of the envelope exercise. Let's say that someone wants to finance a project or finance his working capital need per se, and the amount for $200,000 or $300,000, and he's willing to apply for $100,000 of a grant. Probably he will have to get the remainder of the amount from his own sources or from a private investor. Now we are talking here about the 200% or 2-to-1 matching grant. However, it's worth to note that when we were putting together the call for proposal, we did not particularly specify a required percentage of a matching amount. It can be 25% or 50% of the amount. If he's requesting 100, probably he can also get only 50. It really depends about the type of financing he's asking for and its ultimate use.
Okay, thank you very much, Nicola. And obviously, the number game in the background, you can also expect, the more you ask, right? If you're asking for the full 300,000, then obviously we would expect also larger matching funds than
Absolutely.
if you just ask for 25,000, right? Exactly. Okay, great. Then we have maybe a comment that the criteria might be a bit overwhelming for the MENA farmer or the producer. Well, that might be the case, but that's how the criteria have been set. And we are hopeful, and we hope that quite a few innovators can actually submit concept notes and then later proposal that will actually fit with the criteria. Now, let us have a look at the whole ESG. Maybe Ahmed, that would be something in your direction. So how should a company deal with ESG issues? I mean, do they have to have a system in place already, or how does that work?
So basically, just as a summary, increasingly lately, it has been seen by particularly investors and banks as something healthy for a company to be considering environmental, social, and governance aspects. And this means that the company operation is very conscious of tracking its impact and effect on environment and its social impacts, and also managing it so it becomes better, as well as the existence of a governance structure, meaning a clear differentiation between planning and strategic decisions and operations and so on. So this is something healthy that a company should have. So in terms of the application stage, we definitely do not expect you to have an ISO certification or a certificate or a full governance system or a clear system in place that is managing social and environmental impact. That being said, if you are selected, we will strongly have targets to achieve this. And at this stage, we need to see that you simply have the signs or the flavors or these principles in the company. So for example, I do not have to see a full governance structure complete, but I need to see some separation of decision-making and roles in one of the questions. The other part, I do not need to see a clear environmental management system, but there are questions that in which we need to see that you are very conscious of your environmental and social impact, and you have ideas or already doing things to improve them and make them feel better. To summary, we do not look at this stage that you have these standards in place and a perfect system in place. We will definitely, if selected, work towards it. But at this stage, we need to see that you have these principles of governance, which means separation of decision makings and clear roles and responsibility. We need to see a sign of it. We need to see consciousness and understanding of environmental and social impact and clear ideas how to improve them.
Good. Then I continue with another question of the question says, are innovations, targeting biodiversity, for example, eligible, or does it have to be a production system? Maybe I can answer this directly myself. Well, if you have, of course, if you can achieve targets and goals that conserve biodiversity, I mean, that's great. But if it's only about biodiversity, then you're not eligible. So that means obviously you have to also fulfill the other criteria, and especially the business criteria is something that we are definitely looking at. So just a biodiversity project would not fall under this support. Then another good question is the following. Is the question whether an applicant, for example, from the MENA region, right, does he have to be the proprietary owner of the innovation, or can the innovation be coming, e.g., from a European company, and the applicant just wants to import the innovation and promote this innovation in the MENA region? Is this something that would work, Ahmed, or is that not innovation enough?
Again, in that case, we will not be concerned by where the innovation came from, but we will be concerned with the business model and the plan and the proof that this can be deployed effectively in the region and adding value. So you don't have to be the owner of the IP, that's completely fine. But the innovation in that case is how are you going to get this to the market in a very positive and solid manner.
Okay, then just another question coming back to those 1,000 and 5,000 customers, right? Now, about B2B, right, Ahmed, again, I mean, someone asks now, if I have, for example, I have more a B2B business model and only have like 100 or 500 users, right? But they are having a huge impact on the land because they have lots of land, right? With thousands of hectares. Is it still eligible, or this is a full, this 1,000, 5,000, that's just set in stone?
So basically, in that case, again, Michael, so the direct client is a farm, right? And this farm is a large farm, right?
Yes.
I think in that case, if you are saving water and energy, and you can prove, which would be quite a task, prove that the clients of these farms are poor end users, that's eligible. If the farms just completely sells its product without defining or refining or mainstreaming it or directing it to end users who are in the base of the pyramid, then it is not eligible.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much. Then I have another question about whether NGOs can apply. That's how I at least understand this question. Again, to repeat, yes, NGOs can apply, but remember what Ahmed said, eventually you need to have a revenue arm that generates revenue, or at least you're planning to make a spin-off, for example, with this innovation out of your NGO, and in the future you will have a for-profit sister company or something like that. That's all fine. But again, what will not apply is you cannot just get money for grant funding for an NGO project and that's it. That doesn't work. Maybe a question to Nicola is. That's a good question, actually. What is the minimum required turnover for a given innovation to be eligible?
Okay, so also this criteria was kept open in the call for proposal. However, if we look back at the basic requirements of an applicant, it has to be a medium to mature company, probably an SME plus. I would say it can be from few $100,000 to $1 million revenues. However, it has, let's say that a company has been established 2 to 3 years ago and they have $100,000 or $200,000 of revenue. It has to be recurring. The revenue stream must be recurring and they should have a proven innovation or service or business model.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Ahmed, again, just coming back to that recurring revenue. How would you want to have a university, right? If a university applies, have a recurring revenue over a solution? Can you maybe explain it again? Because I think it hasn't been completely clear.
Okay, so basically, what we want to look at, let me say that operations that are mainly sustainable through the sales, okay? So I can give you some examples. If the university owns a company, or the university owns an NGO, or the university establish a non-profit center, and this center can get revenue, it can take money for selling the product and service, and its finance is contained and clear and obviously sustainable, not dependent on funding from the university, then this can apply. But a typical university that is not capable of selling a product will not be eligible.
Yeah, and just an add-on question, a governmental university now we get into the legal details. Can a governmental university apply?
I prefer to check and come back with this question.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Then another question maybe I can answer. Should financial statements be provided in English or can they also be provided in Arabic? Now, in this concept note stage, you do not have to submit financial statements. Yes, only later in the full proposal stage, you will have to do so. And you can actually provide us all the information either in English, in Arabic, or in French. So that's fine. Correct, Ahmed? Perfect.
Yes,
good.
Exactly.
Now another one which is easy. Can a social enterprise that is registered outside of our 10 countries, right? But they have like a subsidiary limited company in the country of implementation. Can they apply? I think the easy answer here is yes. Correct, Ahmed?
Definitely yes. Definitely yes.
Exactly. Then there is another question that someone is a local NGO in East Africa, especially in Somalia. Is it possible to apply to the program? The easy answer here, if you want to implement the project in Somalia, the answer is no, you cannot do that. But if it's in the implementation is in any of those 10 countries, which we have mentioned before, then it is okay. You can do so. Then there is a question that someone has applied last year. Can he apply again? If you have applied to one of the previous programs before, Water and Energy for Food, you can again apply here. That's absolutely no problem because it is a completely new program basically. So that's completely fine. And another question which we have here, can a joint venture of 2 companies apply together to meet the application criteria? So the simple answer is yes, you can apply as a joint venture, but we need to have a lead applicant. But now, if we start calculating the customers, how do we deal with that, Ahmed?
Well, at the end, what we want to see, like a true partnership towards a certain product and innovation. And we want to see complementary aspects. If this partnership is done to just meet the numbers, this will be tricky for us. So in that case, we will be looking at the number of customers that you can convince us that this partnership is needed to serve them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, I have the last question here today, which is good because soon our Arabic webinar will start. And the last question goes as follows. The total of years of the project is 4 years, right? What happens, Ahmed, a question to you, or no, Nicolas, I think that's a better one for you. What happens if you know, the innovator doesn't reach in the targets set in the first year, right, based on the estimation? Will it then end, or you know, will it continue, or is it just at the end? How does it work with this milestone-based payments and grants?
Thank you, Michael. So basically, when an applicant will be awarded, we'll have to put together a clear transformational and acceleration plan. Those plans will include milestones. They can be qualitative and they can be quantitative. And based on those milestones, the funds from the grants will be disbursed. If he's in track with the milestones and he's meeting them progressively, he will probably unlock a part of it. Then the next year or the next period, if he meet the other set of KPIs or KSIs, he will unlock the other part.
Okay, thank you. Still some more coming in here. Another question, but I think then I will slowly stop. Another question: if my company will partner with another company that will sponsor my idea, shall I submit the financial statements of my company or of the one of the partner? And the person is asking this because this person has started its company in 2018, but didn't get yet to his 5,000 or 1,000 beneficiaries. So how should he apply? Should he like apply with the partner company, or how should that work, Ahmed?
I think the lead applicant should be the main driver behind the innovation and the technology. So that should be the main applicant. And we need, again, to see if it's a partnership or a joint venture. We need to see a clear role for each and a justification of this partnership other than reaching the numbers. So let's say if you have a company that is selling water irrigation system and there is a partnership, let's say with the transportation or logistics company that is big and large, and then it shows the numbers, this is not for us like a clear partnership on what's happening. But if you are selling an intelligent irrigation system and the partnership is a company that provides part of the system or part of the innovation, this makes sense to us. So the entity that contributes the most to the innovation should be the lead. And this is the numbers that we will look at.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then Ahmed, one question I'm a bit puzzled. I don't understand it fully. Someone is asking, could we use innovations that have been gaining certificates on international shows? Now, I don't really know what the question is here. I assume it's the question about whether, you know, other innovations can be taken, but we've answered this one before, huh?
Yeah, and I think for us, our definition of a working innovation or a proven innovation is one that is being sold successfully in the market. So a certification only is not a validation for us that this is a commercial technology. We are not saying it is not an intelligent innovation. We are not saying it's not a worthy patent. Even a patent is not enough for us to support. This type of early stage innovation or still not commercially proven are things that can be targeted in other programs. But for us, we need evidence that this is commercially viable. So being sold doesn't have to be sold to this particular market segment or this particular clients or in this particular country, but we need a market-proven commercial technology.
Great, and I will close with the very last, with the simplest question of all of them. Could you please list us all the countries that are eligible for this call for innovations? Yes, that's simple. It's 10 countries from the MENA region. This is Algeria, this is Egypt, this is Morocco, this is Sudan, Northern Sudan, this is Tunisia, it's Iraq, it's Jordan, it's Lebanon, it's the Palestinian territory, and it is Yemen. So if your innovation is coming from these countries, or you implement you want to implement your innovation in these countries, then you're eligible for this call. Please remember, there are other regional innovation hubs for Africa, but also for the Asian part of the globe, which have their own calls. Please check out the website if you want to implement your innovation there. But you cannot do that here when you sort of use the call for innovation, which is currently open for the MENA region. So with that, I would like to close. Thank you very much for your the audience for listening to us and for asking the questions. What we will do, those questions which we have gone through right now, we will give very short answers to them in a written form. We will get approval from them, and those answers will be the ones that will actually count. But I don't see too many critical questions, maybe 1, 2, which we need to clarify, but the rest I think is pretty straightforward. So we of course look forward to your applications, and we look even more forward to then working together with you once you pass all the selection criteria in the future next year to create really impact in this water and energy for food sector. So that's what we are here for, and that's what we would like to invite you to really work together with us as partners to create this impact in the MENA region. We will make a short break now here, and those who still don't have enough, you can listen to the same thing in Arabic if you like, but otherwise I would say goodbye here, and we will continue with the Arabic, or we'll start with the Arabic part of the seminar, which is exactly the same thing, in 15 minutes. So thank you very much, bye-bye, and all the best.